Coming up on this edition of Speed Chronicles, I don't even know where to begin.
Zig Media presents Speed Chronicles with Todd Lewis, powered by Rev TV.
Thanks for joining me on this edition of Speed Chronicles. Don't forget, you can like and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts, and of course on the Rev TV YouTube channel as well. Okay, where do we want to start? How about Formula One? Because that was a highly anticipated return. And I think they certainly delivered in terms of the on-track drama, don't you think? Plenty of action and activity at the season opening round in Australia. To no one's surprise, the McLarens were fast. They were fast during practice, and of course, qualifying on the front row was spectacular. Are we going to see a Lando and Oscar battle, duking it out for the championship? Lando Norris, of course, gets the leg up because of his strong finish with the victory in Australia, but Oscar Piastri is awfully darn fast too. I think it's going to be very interesting to see both of them going head to head this year in terms of the battle. How personal does it become? Of course, it's always about, I got to beat my teammate, and I think this is going to be fun and interesting to watch. Max Verstappen was also fastest. He is a world-class driver. He's got a great car. Is it the fastest car? No, but he's got a very good car and will always wring the most out of it. Rookies? Oh, yes. Didn't I say something about rookies a week ago? Worth watching, and that what happens with the rookies is going to be interesting to see the progression of some throughout the whole season. Yeah, they had an impact. They were noteworthy in this one. Isack Hadjar crashed on the formation lap. Oh, how heartbreaking for that young man. Getting to start his first Formula One Grand Prix race, the anticipation, the excitement, and the pressure of a new season, crashes on the formation lap and doesn't even get to race. He is incredibly emotional afterwards, and what a gesture by Anthony Hamilton, Lewis Hamilton's father, to find him and console him as he was making his way back through the paddock area. A lot of people are upset about the emotion being displayed. One of them being Dr. Helmut Marko. There is no bigger ass. That's what it's all about in Formula One. It is the pressure to perform. And Isack Hadjar had troubles in round one. I hope he bounces back in round two. I guess it's kind of good that they get to race only a week later, and he'll get a chance to redeem himself. Lots of pressure as well on others. Jack Dew and Liam Lawson, they had tough days, but how about the job of Kimi Antonelli? That is some fine work by the youngster. Well done. Lewis Hamilton in the Ferrari. Almost said Lewis Hamilton in the Mercedes. Lewis Hamilton in the Ferrari. Again, there's some work to do. If you heard the radio communications, there's some difficulty there. He's trying to get to know and get familiar with his new team. They're trying to give him what he needs and not what he doesn't need or want. This is going to be interesting and worth watching. How quickly do they get that chemistry that is so often talked about between team members, between drivers and engineers and crew chiefs and other team members? It's a work in progress at Ferrari right now. So where do they go from here? Well, they go to China for the next Grand Prix this weekend, as a matter of fact. And already there is finger pointing going on in Formula One, because it wouldn't be Formula One without finger pointing going on. And there are going to be some closer inspections of the Flexi wing to see if that is going to be a thing for the McLarens. Yes, clearly Formula One is back. All the drama and much more. Now, do you know what else I noticed at the first Formula One race of the season? Louis Vuitton. I noticed Louis Vuitton a lot because it was everywhere. You could not miss it. The signage was all over the track. They paid an awful lot of money to be part of Formula One starting in 2025, and they're going to get their money's worth. Big change, big branding for Louis Vuitton on Formula One. Know what else I noticed? There is no more Rolex. There's that famous shot just before the lights go out on the formation lap. They zoom into the clock, and as the minute hand goes up to the stroke of 12, the lights go out, the cars leave the grid. It's a different brand of timepiece that is now part of Formula One. Tag Heuer is the brand. A little different. Again, they paid a lot of money for that branding. What else is going on in motorsports? How about IndyCar coming back? Yes, they've had a few weeks off since St. Petersburg. They're back and they're headed to the Thermal Club in California. I don't know how this weekend is going to go. I'm a little curious about it. It started off as this is kind of, hey, we're going to visit, we're going to pop in at your private exclusive club, we're going to bring some cars, and we're going to hang around, and we'll do that, yeah. And then last year they went back for the second time, and it was a poorly executed special event, so-called $1 million race that wasn't a $1 million race, and whatever, and that's fine. But now it's an actual points-paying event as part of the IndyCar calendar. All right, maybe it'll be good, maybe it won't. I don't know. We're going to have to wait and see what it looks like when they actually race on this track. They made a big deal about changing the tire allocation for the first race at St. Petersburg. It was now 5 and 5 in terms of primary and alternate tires. They've gone back to the traditional allocation for this week because apparently the Thermal Club eats up tires. So I don't know. I don't know if this is a good thing to be at this club or not. It's supposed to help promote business to business aspects of IndyCar, which I think they're trying to have take a greater role and make it financially feasible for the teams. You can go, though, because they are allowing spectators. If you want to go, there are plenty of tickets available in just the very basic general admission variety of $500 a throw, or you can get the full luxury experience for about $1,800. I don't know. And, I guess they'll get a few people out and they'll have some fun, but I don't know. Let's hope the racing is at least good. The interesting part about this, with Thermal, that makes 3 visits to California for IndyCar. They'll go to Laguna Seca and Long Beach, of course, and then they have another trip out to the West Coast to go to Portland. So that's 4 trips out to the West Coast. And other than Toronto, it's a Midwestern series. Got Milwaukee, got Detroit, got St. Louis, got Mid-Ohio. It's a Midwestern series. But we go to the West Coast 4 times and go to Toronto. St. Pete is sort of in the East, but not really. It's a West Coast trips and Midwestern series. Anybody else see what's wrong with that? I do. It's a Midwestern series. You've got to grow. This is what being on national network television is all about for IndyCar. They need more eyeballs. They need more attention. What does round 2 for Fox look like? We'll wait and see. But that's why they need to be on network television, is to create awareness. Because right now, big in the Midwest, not very big everywhere else. NASCAR fully into the grind. Vegas, decent venue, decent race. Morgan Freeman did the command to start engines, as we told you about last week. He was low-key. He was deliberate. He was very on brand for Morgan Freeman. I don't think we should have expected really anything else. I think it was Jordan Bianchi who said that, it would be cool if he did driver introductions, and it really would have been cool if he did driver introductions. But you know what? That's an awful lot of work for Morgan Freeman. And doing that at a live event, and then you got to be hitting times and stuff. This was show up for an hour, shake some hands, put on a Bubba Wallace hat, answer 3 questions at a press availability, give the command, go home if you want. Short, sweet, easy. Okay, Morgan Freeman, it was fine. There, of course, are more court filings as well in NASCAR who are suing and countersuing each other with 2311 and Front Row. This is going to go on for a while, and I suspect it will get settled at some point, but it's not going to happen anytime soon. There is another NASCAR story that started to percolate last week. There was an article in a French language newspaper about it, and it's sort of drifted out a little bit more now into English once it's been translated. So you've probably heard that there was this story about a potential NASCAR return to Montreal as Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Let's go back in time a little bit first and discuss this one. So it was at least a year ago, probably more now, that there were the first rumblings about NASCAR coming back to Montreal. Of course, it was then Nationwide, now Xfinity Series, that ran there for about 5 years. They were discussing it. They were negotiating it. The negotiations went sideways. Then it got quiet. Heard a few stories about what happened and why it happened. Doesn't really matter now. There have been some discussions. What happened better than a year ago, the negotiations went sideways. NASCAR went to Mexico. And they're going to Mexico this summer with the Cup and Xfinity Series, and that event is going to be enormous. There will be a tremendous crowd on site, super enthusiastic, and it will be successful. The Canadian Grand Prix is moving to the month of May, beginning in 2026. Now, the Chicago event is still on the calendar for the Cup Series in 2025, this year. They'll be back in Chicago again this summer. But that's probably going to be the end of it. As mentioned, Canadian Grand Prix is moving to May, which does potentially create a bit of an opportunity in Montreal. There's only so many months of summer. There's only certain windows of opportunity for races on Ile Notre Dame. It gets used for other things like the big concerts later in the year. A June opportunity to race NASCAR, this might be coming. There's still a long way to go. It can still go sideways. Things went quiet for a while, and I expect they will now too. Nobody likes to negotiate in public. It's best for everyone if they don't. But let's hope it gets quietly worked on, and when there is a schedule announcement for 2026, that will come later in the summer, there's a little more information and clarity about that. And let's hope that this happens, because it would be a big boost for the NASCAR Canada Series as well. And much needed and overdue. Don't give them short shrift and give them lousy track time either. Don't make them race at 9 o'clock in the morning. Give them a little bit better track time. You can do that. So we'll see where it goes. There have been some conversations. Nothing is imminent to my knowledge, but we'll see what happens. And of course, with all this going on, we have IMSA and Sebring and their second endurance event of the year as well. Sensational event. It's a great event to go to. If you get the opportunity, super fun, very casual, like all IMSA events, you can wander around everywhere. The paddocks are open. And as has become tradition for IMSA, they have announced their 2026 schedule. That's right. Second event of the year, they announce next year's schedule. I talked to IMSA President John Doonan about this a while ago, and he said it makes so much sense for teams, for partners, for everyone that's involved, even from the simplest point of being able to book travel. And in fact, their schedule is so far out and completed that you can't book travel for some events yet. And that's a good thing. But as soon as the window opens up, teams can book travel and be prepared and save money that way. It's great for sponsors who want to plan activations on site and be partners in the series, long-term stability. It's good for everyone. So this is something that all series should be aspiring to, is to try to get their schedule out as early as possible. Porsche Penske's went 1-2. That's great. Rexy wins in the GTD Pro category again. Lots of good support for all the races. Lots of good support races there as well. The Porsche Carrera Cup was great. And again, endurance event, busy at Sebring, super cool. And also the testing that's taking place Tuesday and today, Wednesday, I believe, this week at Sebring with Robert Wickens in the Corvette. He will be participating in the IMSA WeatherTech Sports Car Challenge. His first event is going to be at Long Beach, and he will be driving a hand-controlled Corvette. Has had good success the last few years with Brian Herta Autosport driving the Hyundais in the Michelin Pilot Challenge. Nice to see him getting the opportunity in the IMSA WeatherTech Championship. I don't think he's done yet either. I think there will be more steps in his future, and that's good news for everyone. So thanks for checking out this week's edition of Speed Chronicles. Lots to digest there, I know. We'll be back to do it again next Wednesday.